welcome to the show. I am your host, Theresa, and of course, this is your Spotlight, episode 3. Yes, that's right, episode 3. So today's guests are going to range from care management for the different abled community. We have a short film documentarian talking about life after loss, which is a focal point, talking about what happens when miscarriages and other reproductive issues occur to women in the Black and Brown community. And of course, we're going to have some music provided by Break Out the Crazy, the dynamic duo of Katya Diaz and Chris Hierro. So stay tuned, stay there, don't move, and watch the show. I'll see you at the end.
My name is Paige Johnson, and I am from Silver Spring, Maryland.
My name is Erica Brown from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
My name is Leah Michelle Fournier, and I'm from Waldorf, Maryland.
My name is Nika Simister, LCSW. I am here licensed in New York.
My name is Dr. Karen Stevenson. I am an internal medicine and pediatric physician.
Hi, my name is Wasita Francois. I'm from Philadelphia, but I'm currently in New York. I'm a full spectrum doula specializing in fertility and postpartum.
Peace to the planet, my name is Theresa Mitchell. I'm an executive producer of a documentary called Life After Loss. Life After Loss is about overcoming the challenges of losing a child during pregnancy. What I hope people get from this documentary is the courage to have a voice, to speak up, and knowing who you are. I want women to know that there's resources out there. I want women to know that it's people that have similar stories to them, and to understand that you're not alone. We are here for you, we see you, we admire you, and we understand you. This film will be coming to you soon. Stay tuned for more information.
Hi, welcome to This Is Your Spotlight. I am the one and only Eurydice Roman. Today, I am here with a person of distinction. If you don't know her, you will know her soon. So I am here with Theresa from Jhene Productions. She has 2 films that you must see that talk about such critical issues. We're only going to show one, the trailer for one. It's a documentary that she is currently doing that talks about, especially for people of color, issues with fertility and miscarriage and the impact that it has on women, especially. Because I know in the community, we don't talk about that. Just like we don't talk about Bruno, shout out to that movie. We don't talk about, fertility issues. So welcome to the show and talk about it. Come on, let us know.
Thanks. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Yes. This film is called Life After Loss. It's dear to my heart. It's about me and 4 other women telling their stories when it comes to birthing while Black. It talks about miscarriages, stillbirth, infertilities, IVF, and understanding your rights as a woman of color. We strive to tell this story in a way where you can understand us, you can feel our pain, and you can understand our grief and our frustration. The healthcare system in America is like the third world country. Probably worse when it comes to policies, when it comes to statistics of systemic racism that happens on a daily basis. For me, I wasn't heard, I wasn't seen, and I wasn't believed. I suffered 3 miscarriages before I had my rainbow baby. My rainbow baby is due after I had my 3rd miscarriage. And I didn't know what was going on with my body. I asked all the questions I possibly can, and I always got, well, that's pregnancy, it happens. No, it don't. You can find out what's going on with me. My issue was I had an incompetent cervix. I couldn't hold my I couldn't hold my babies after a certain period of time. So my first miscarriage was at 15 weeks. My
Wow.
second miscarriage was at 18 weeks, and my third miscarriage, which they didn't call it a miscarriage, they called it a sporadic abortion at 19 weeks because I had an infection. So I had to
Oh,
terminate the baby because if I
interesting.
didn't terminate the baby and I would have died together because due to the infection.
Oh, wow.
So me as a woman of color, trying to understand my body mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, it did not work at all. I tried to seek out therapy, but in the state of New York, New York City, it was hard for me to get an individual therapist because it's a waiting list. So you had group therapy. But when you had group therapy, you didn't see any women like me. You didn't see somebody feeling the way I'm feeling. I'm not angry because they always considered you angry or depressed because you lost a child. No, I'm sad. I'm hurt. I'm angry. I'm feeling all these emotions because now, after I had my first miscarriage, I had to plan a funeral. I didn't know nothing
Yeah.
about planning
To
a
be
funeral.
honest with you, this is a few things that people don't talk about. When you have a miscarriage, it's similar to going through the 5 stages of grief.
Yep.
It's the same equivalent as when you have a severe heartbreak.
Yep.
Because they're the 5 stages. First, there's the denial that it happened. Then secondly, to accept it. And then the last one is to make peace with it. And you never make peace with it, to be honest with you. You really don't. It's something that haunts you. It's something that just stays with you. And the thing is that there are very few outlets, as you've done the research and you've seen for yourself firsthand. So yeah, it's never easy. I'm not gonna say that it is. Yeah, listen. Every time I go to any like gynecological issues and stuff, I've had my own things happen, and I just looked at them like, And I look at the waiting room, and I'm just like, and then when you start talking to people, whoever wants to talk in a waiting room, never in a doctor's office is anybody chatty like, girl, I'm gonna tell you what the hell I'm here for.
It's such a
It's like, first of all, I wasn't even staring at you that way. I probably got the same issue or worse. Okay, relax. It's not that serious. And mind you, I went to an all-girl school, so that was always fun. There was always defensiveness everywhere.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, you were saying, continue. My apologies.
It's okay. But in the Black and Brown community, we are 1 to 4 times most likely to die at the hands of childbirth or have complications during or after childbirth. And these statistics are very high, especially during COVID. When 2020 hit, the census of Black and Brown women in the state of New York, or even in rural communities like the South, especially Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, if you live in a rural community, you can get access to a clinic or a hospital because you live so far. So now, how do you get that maternal care if you can't get there? And everything was shut down. So if you have a complication, you had to do telehealth with your doctors. And then, some doctors say, oh, well, just rest your feet, you'd be fine. But sometimes that's not the case. You can develop blood clots, water. Your placenta might be detaching from the baby. You don't know. So these are the problems that we are having. Like COVID taught us that we need to advocate for ourselves. We need to start looking at our doctors like when we go to car dealerships. So if I go to the car dealership and I see a particular car, I'm going to like it. I'm going to test drive it. I'm going to do everything. We need to start test driving our doctors. We need to start asking our doctors these questions, getting these tests done, and to understand our body, because we should not be dying at an alarming rate. So this is why Life After Loss. Yeah, this is why Life After Loss, the documentary, is so important to start the conversation. And that's what I really, really, really want, is to start the conversation. Having a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old going to their first GYN appointment and having these conversations with their doctor, you know, trying to see if they should freeze their eggs at a certain age, you know, just in case they don't want to have a baby at any age. So having these conversations and being open and honest with them, and also minuting and demolishing the silence of whatever happens in the house stays in the house. We need to stop that. Especially in my community of the Caribbean descent. When I had my miscarriage, my mom didn't tell me my grandmother had one. So now I'm looking at her like, why we couldn't have this conversation? Why did I felt so alone? I could have embraced that moment where I could have leaned on you more because my grandmother went through it. So now, why do we keep it silent? We need to start talking about it. We need to start seeing how our friends that's going through this, sisters, aunts, or cousins, or whoever going through this, just be there for them. You don't have to say much. You don't have to do much, but that supporting hand goes a long way.
So my question that I have is that, do you have any opposition when you first started? Did you have a lot of people that were willing to talk to you face to face, but when it came to have the camera in their face, they were like clammed up and they were like,
the men. I had a few men that wanted to talk about their experience of losing their child. And, you know, we always talk about females. We always talk about women losing their child, how they feel in their emotions, but we never talk about men. And my problem was they were so open and honest live and over the phone. But when it came to that interview moment, they pulled out. They was like, oh, I don't want my homeboy to see me. Yeah, I don't want my homeboy to see me at the barbershop. I don't want to show you that I'm weak. I don't want to show you that I'm crying. And I'm like, we need to see that. We need to see you at that vulnerable state, because we are so programmed to see men as strong, as a protector, as
you know what you could have done to help him out? Just be like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna shoot you in the dark. Let's just show the back of your head.
I should have did that.
And make sure that you speak loud enough into the little lavalier mic. And that's about it. And I'll find out, you know, I'll download, you know, the voice distortion software shit.
I should have did that.
Or stuff, excuse me. I shouldn't curse on my own show. Stuff. And we could have resolved it that way if that was like the big issue.
That was
you know, when I did my documentary, I made sure to have everybody sign a release. And on top of that, I have showed people, this is who I am, this is what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is. Yeah. It depending on the topic, not everybody is forthcoming.
Yeah.
And like for my documentary that I did, I had a lot of Latinos and only one African American, because of the same thing that you experienced, that it's hard to get people to like loosen up because of the preconceived notions and the stigmas and the fears and the worries. And you're just like, okay, it's like, all right, so then if you're not part of the solution, you're contributing to the problem.
There you go.
And then when you tell them that, then they'd be more upset at you. They're like, you know what, forget you and forget this, forget that. And you're like, okay, you know what? Okay. Forgotten. Thank you. I have lived on.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was trying to help you out.
Yep.
To bring you into the light. Yeah. If you're talking about I'm woke and I'm progressive and I'm liberal and I'm all this and that. And it's like, no, not that much apparently. Yeah. It's just a label. Like, you know, like the little horsey I got right here. That's just a label right there.
That's it. Yep.
You know, either you could wear your label proudly, embrace it, understand what it is, or just live and just be like, you know what, it's a label. I know, I've been through it. I'll talk about it when I'm comfortable.
Yes.
There is no comfortable moment to talk about, you know, the loss of a child.
Yeah.
You know how traumatizing it is to bury your child before you? That, you know, you have to find a space and a place for that child that You didn't intend. Hell, I'm sure some people haven't picked out their own damn headstones. Like, I don't know if I want an angel, I want the book. I want to say what was I beloved mother, daughter, niece, aunt, whatever. I don't know what my headstone wants to say, and I have to choose it for somebody who didn't get a chance to live a life.
Yep. And I had to do that 3 times.
You know that?
So my mental health, I suffer from anxiety because every time I go into a doctor's office, my blood pressure goes up. Because you're going to I feel like you're going to tell me something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You diagnose me or something that I feel like you shouldn't diagnose me, or I just feel like you're just going to tell me I'm going to die or something. So my trauma instills with losing my 3 babies, my 3 boys. Like, so now how do I embrace
3 boys?
Yeah, 3 all.
Wow.
Yeah, 3 boys.
Dang.
And then I had my rainbow baby, which she's a girl. So now it's like, oh wow, this is the dynamics change. So now when I was pregnant with her, I made sure I seek therapy while I was pregnant with her.
Oh no, same here. When I was pregnant with my son, I was actually speaking to a social worker, and what was it? I was in therapy after I turned like my first semester.
Yeah.
And then about maybe when I got to like 7-8 months, this person must have been the nastiest social worker on the face of the earth. So the person who I was dealing with was an older Jewish gentleman, very nice. Used to let me air out my, my neurosis and whatever I felt. But then the other one, he was on some, what are you really here for? What can I do for you?
That was a lot.
I said, excuse me. First of all, I'm pregnant. Do you mind changing your tone when you speak to me?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm a first-time mom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Documentary. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Go by some.
Life After Loss is only 36 minutes long.
That's not bad. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah. So it's it starts off with us telling our story, and it just follows through. We are premiering it live in Brooklyn on May 14th at 7:30 p.m. in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn area on 95th Street in Brooklyn.
Oh, what was I going to tell you? So how many women aside from yourself? So it's like what? I saw like 3 or 4 extra women on including yourself.
Yeah, so it's 4 women, including myself, which is from the 4th. It's telling our story. And then we have a therapist, we have a doctor, Dr. Stevens.
Okay, good.
Therapist, Nika Sinister, and then we have a doula, which her name is Wasita. She's a full spectrum doula. And these ladies tell you the history of being a mother, of advocating for yourself. And also tell you about your mental health. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be mad. It's okay not to be okay. And how you can process it in a way where you can talk about it, because a lot of women don't want to talk about it. A lot of women want to just go about their business and just try to forget about it. But then that manifests into anger. It manifests into your bad relationship because you don't want to express yourself with your partner that you lost your child with, or you're trying to get pregnant and you just don't know what to say to your partner on why this is happening to you. And you feel like you're broken. You feel like you're less than a woman. It's a lot of conversations around this documentary that will open up the conversation to make you feel you're worthy, that you're important. We see you, we hear you, and we definitely believe you.
How much convincing did you have to do to get the doula, to get the doctors and the therapist? Because everybody's got a busy schedule in New York City. So it's really hard to be like, could you just do it? I just need you for like 15 minutes, maybe like half hour of your time.
So even though COVID was a bad thing, but then it was a good thing because you knew everybody was home. You knew everybody was either working and it was working and it was going straight home. So we scheduled it to the point where, okay, we knew you guys were in this location. Can we meet this day? And we worked out, especially the doctor. She was one of the ones that is more complicated than everybody else. Everybody else's schedule is pretty open. But hers, we had to work on hers because she, she's on call, she's doing all this. So when we finally got her and we narrowed down a date, it was just amazing. All these women came together. We interviewed them for an hour and then they left, and then the other one came in. So we didn't want to have the room so crowded with individuals in that room due to COVID. But we
So where mostly was it shot in?
so it was shot at
Were
2
you-
locations, one in Brooklyn and one in Maryland.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
You went to Maryland?
We went to Maryland 3 hours. We drove.
Girl. That is dedication and a half.
Yeah.
The furthest I went from my documentary was Yonkers, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Went to Yonkers, then I went to Flatbush.
Bye.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we really wanted to focus in New York, but most of the women that we interviewed that we felt like the story was so important to tell, they was out of state, so we didn't want to, mix everybody.
Exclude anybody, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I am here with, if you don't know him, I'm going to introduce you to him today, to Carlos Tiny Tim Leon. So I met him way back in college. So it's really funny how I met him. And I'm so happy that he decided to do the show today. Today we're going to talk about what Carlos does and how this is important, especially in the special needs community. Definitely is something that people should know about, and we're going to get into it. So a little background. When I was at CCNY, go Beavers, it was really funny. I was part of the radio station in the college, and I did a little bit of the television station. Shout out to Same TV and WCCR. And I met him at a party. It was really funny how it came about, though, how we met at the party. So he was part of a fraternity called Tau TEP, Tau Epsilon Phi. I don't know their logo, so sorry. I don't know like
it's okay.
Their motto or mantra, sorry. And he approached me at a party. So I think it was a Halloween party. So I was dressed like a weird preppy girl that year. And I sat down, and it was at Peter's party. Shout out to Peter. Miss you, Peter, wherever you are. He still goes to me, listen, I'm pledging for TEB. I said, okay. You mean the fraternity? You're like, yeah. Could you take a picture with me? Because, the challenge is to take a picture with a pretty girl. And I'm going to put it up online. And, that'll be towards my pledging. I said, okay. I said, they haven't made you do anything more embarrassing than ask for a picture, right? I hope not. He goes, no. I think it was like day 2 of pledging you were doing or something like that.
Yeah,
or 3, something like that. And I said, okay, fine, we'll take a picture. So I took 2 pictures, and both of the pictures, I look so silly because I'm laughing and I'm just like, and I was like, okay, all right. That was my goofy phase in my 20s when I like took weird pictures and stuff like that. And yes, they're on my Facebook page. No, I do not recommend anybody to go to my Facebook page, just letting you know. So from 2007, he's done way much more than meets the eye in terms of everything. And he actually lived in my neighborhood we actually lived in the same neighborhood for a little bit. So what are you doing now?
So now I am a supervisor for Tri-County Care. I just got promoted October 1st, and I've been working as a supervisor ever since. Before that, I was a care manager for about 3 to 4 years. I was in different agencies, CCOs. One of them was Advanced Care Alliance, and then the other one was and now it's Tri-County Care. And then before that, I used to do a whole bunch of other stuff. Like I used to be a job coach before. I used to be a benefit coordinator as well, and I used to work for YI. I used to work for Goodwill. Like I say that I'm a jack of all trades because I know basically all around almost every service is out there. Because I've worked with every services out there, so it comes easy when it comes to training and when it comes to the knowledge that I've acquired. So it's easy to explain to my parents from as a to my individual's parents, like what services we offer as in our agency and what they can benefit and what they can't benefit. So yeah, I've come a long way.
So, in terms of the jobs that you just described, which one do you feel like everything that you've done prepared you or didn't prepare you?
Well, so okay, so let's go back to like 2000 and way back to 2000 and let me see, 2011, 2012,
Mm-hmm.
12, 13.
Right.
My I didn't have no career set in mind. I was still in college. I was still like, I was still like hanging out, and I was still like, like I didn't really know what I was gonna do at this point of my career. And I just needed a job at that point. I started with YAI as a job coach because I needed a job. Um, and from there, like I was there for like maybe like a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
And then I left the job. And then after that, obviously with a lot of knowledge. After that, it was quite hard to get another job because I am disabled. I have cerebral palsy, and I walk with crutches. So it was hard to get a job. So I said to myself, I said, why work for a boss when I could be my own boss? So what I did
Right.
was
Boss mentality
right, right,
all
right.
day, boy.
Yeah. So what I did was I learned how to drive,
Mhm.
and then I got my TOC license. So I was a cab driver for about maybe like a year and a half, 2 years. And I thank God, my family had, my external family had like a base, and I told him if I could work in his base, and he said yes, and then I worked for myself. So
Right.
everything, like all the money, all I had to pay was the gas and the base and what the base charges for the radio. Um and the rental of the taxi cab, which was a lot of money. At that point, I was working about 17 hours a day. And I had no life. Um I had no life. I literally just worked every day. I'd even like hang out with my pledge, my brothers, my fraternity brothers. None of that. Like none of my like I didn't even see my whole family. None of that. It was really bad. But I was doing all of this because I wanted to get money to do my own to do my masters. So I did my masters.
Okay.
I collected all this money. I went into Lehman and I did my masters. And then
Mhm.
I after that I graduated, and then I looked for another job. I looked for and thank God, Goodwill hired me as a benefit advisor.
Okay.
And then I was there for like a year and a half. I was doing actually two jobs in Goodwill. I was a benefit advisor, and then at that time, I was doing Medicaid service coordinator, which was a MSc, until they changed the title. So I learned a lot, and then they also flew me out to Chicago to do like different to train for a benefit advisor. So I'm registered through the state as a benefit advisor, and then every year I have to recertify my certificate so that way I could like if I ever want to apply, I apply for different jobs. I can do so. and I every year I recertify it. And then there was a switch. The switch was uh, Advanced Care Alliance came to Goodwill and said, "Hey, we're the company is no we're no longer going to have Medicaid service coordinators. We are all going to be transitioning to a care manager, and then they're going to be 7 CCOs. 7 CCOs were uh, Advanced Care Alliance, Tri-County Care, Care Design, in Life Plan New York. It's a whole, it's other, it's other
Entities.
right. So, you know, in order for us to not lose my job, obviously I said, okay, I'll go with you
No,
guys.
sincerely, like, come
Right.
on.
I'll go with you guys. So I went with them, and then I learned more and more, and then uh, I stayed with Advanced Care Alliance. And then after that, I was there, and I left Advanced Care Alliance. I went to Tri County Care. And when I went to Tri County Care, I made a goal for myself, and I said, I'm very knowledgeable, and I'm not being cocky at all. I'm just, it's I'm very assertive, and I'm very like, because I know what I'm talking about, and I've done a lot of I've done a lot of different things to help people with disabilities. So I made myself a goal and a promise to myself that I wanted to become a supervisor, because it was about that time. I didn't want to be a care manager for 5, 6 years, 7 years. I wanted to move on, and that's what's good about everything, is that you need to move on. Like you need to be you need to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So
Absolutely.
I applied, and I
Mm,
took my test, and I got the position.
mm.
So
As a,
to go back to what this is just a fill in to go back to what you said about
right.
what was my favorite or my favorite job in the past, or what I liked about it. To be honest with you, like I liked all my jobs. I love being a job coach in YI. I love being a service care coordinator. I like to be a benefit advisor. And the reason why is because all of these jobs prepare me to what I know now. Had I not been a job coach, had I not been a service Medicaid service coordinator, had I not been a benefit advisor, how am I going to train my care managers under me the things that they need to know? That so it's I'm glad, and I'm very grateful for all these companies that have hired a person with disabilities, because I know it is not hard. It is hard. It's hard, coming, it's hard looking for a job, and and
Yes.
and and, and thinking as a businessman, as a CEO. You have to put yourself in their shoes as well. Is this person going to be reliable? Can I hire this person to do the job? Can I
Yes.
hire people with disabilities to do their job? And I understand where they were coming from, and I understand their point if they, that they were afraid sometimes. And don't get me wrong, I used to get, I didn't get, like I said, the reason why I went into being a cab driver was because I went to hundreds and hundreds of interviews without getting nowhere. So it's like there comes a point in time where I'm like, you get fed up. You're like, how am I gonna survive? I can't survive on SSI
Oh
checks.
yeah. And
You
that's the
know?
thing. See, what's interesting about different abilities, as I like to say, is that people like make these assumptions about the person, and they have these like ideas of how they're supposed to be or how they're supposed to act. And then also, with the job market is really tough out there. And then sometimes, if the person has a different mindset or ability, you don't want to like put them to do something, but then you also have to think about it. Even even what a person's considered neurotypical, or functioning, normal functioning, whatever normal is, you got to think about it like, yeah, but sometimes you got to do the job that nobody wants to build yourself up, to learn, okay, this is how I can re-strategize and how I can revitalize myself and put myself out there. If I can do this job, I can do the next.
Right,
So
exactly.
that's what I would look at it.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. It's like building blocks. Is building blocks one by one, making sure that at the end, when you come out to that tower, that little tower that you created, it doesn't fall out. You have to build it in a way that it doesn't uh go down. It's
No, of
just
course, of course. You got to be humble and hungry.
humble and hungry. Yep.
Humble and hungry, the two H's, humble and hungry. And you got to be honest. It's like, okay, what I'm going for, is it truly the fit for me? Or am I going for it because of, dot, 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 dot.
hmm
In terms of,
Every job, yeah, every job is not for everybody. You just have to, you have to. It's how life is. It's literally how life is. Like you gotta just what they say in math. You have to they say you have to try different I forget the
different
methodology.
approaches in order to
Yes,
get the
right,
answer.
right. Yeah,
Different hypothesis to get to get
yeah,
the answer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in terms of care manager, because like for example, my son is on the spectrum and he's currently getting respite, which
Mhm.
is from a parent's point of view. uh, this is the kind of what it is. For the parents' point of view is different. It's more like, okay, someone does come to your home and someone does help them with like their
Right.
ADLs, which is the ADLs is like their daily living skills
Yes.
from the parent point of view. And then
Mhm.
also you have how you've got that. And then secondly, the next one that you have is a community habilitation, which is someone that takes your child out into the community, whether it's a park, museum, library, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And as a care manager supervisor, like what is like the most common service that's used, especially with the agency that you work with?
We only speak about Tricanti Care
You're fine.
because so what Tricanti Care offers is a plethora of services. We
You're
have
covered.
uh, day habilitation services, ComHab services, respite services, self-direction services,
Mhm.
respite, ComHab, no, supportive employment services, and then we also have something called pre-vocational services. So all of these services are meant for people with disabilities that they can succeed
Mhm.
in their day-to-day life. This it could be either either after school, uh, it could be on the weekends, recreational activities. It could be it's basically it's all person centered. So you know day habilitation programs we cannot give day habilitation programs with the people with disabilities who are going to school due to the board of education because it it, it conflicts.
Yeah,
You can't do
it's a conflict of interest, right? And it
conflict of interest. Yes, yes. So you can't do both. So we tell the parent off the back when a new parent, a new enrollee, we tell the parent, hey, you could get these services. However, I check the age and I also check if they're in school. I ask questions. So as a care manager, I ask questions and then I say, okay, is he in school? If he's in school, then obviously the day have is not is out the question. However, I do inform them that after they do graduate day habilitation services, then they can ask their care manager to apply for day habilitation services because it's much, like you don't want your kid to be stuck at home every day all the time. So this is like this is day habilitation services is basically another outlet for him to go and interact with people, people all ages and all ethnicities. So we do that. They have ComHab. It's somebody who you could do either on site or site based or when they come to your home. So this is basically they come to your home and they make you like not make you but they work with you on the individual's goals and value outcomes and if we prepare something that's called a life plan, which means that is basically like a summary of what you want your child to do during those 6 months. And then after those 6 months, we come and review it. And then that's what's something else called a semi-life plan, which means that we're going to review it and see if you want to keep those goals. If you want to keep the goals and you're going to continue, then we continue with those goals. If not, then you got the liberty of changing them. And again, you got the liberty of changing your goals anytime you want. This is not like a set in stone. This is person centered. So this is all about the individual. Then we have respite. Respite is something that a staff would come to your home and take you out to the museums, the parks, anywhere that the individual would like.
Searching for meaning, it's in the feelings. Money can't buy me love.
So you take the risk, forget life's a gift. Look what you've left behind.
And we didn't know about consequence.
Never concerned with making sense.
Now I see everything, everything I could lose. Yeah, I got everything, everything left to lose.
I've been looking around, too much lost to be found. Tell me how, if it burns to the ground,
is that self-defeating?
Too caught up on the words, talking just to be heard. How far down do we all have to fall
to know we gave up on it?
I know what I got, so much more than that. All the blessings divine. Can't live on the edge, take more than you give. Money can't buy more time. How can you believe in anything
when you're giving up on everything?
So today's guests, which I have admired from afar. No, not in a creepy stalker way. Wait, it's 2022. We got to stop that, by the way. It is Break Out the Crazy. They're a dynamic duo. They're not going to tell you that, but they are today. Welcome, Chris Hierro and Katya Diaz. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much for having us.
No, thank you for actually saying yes. So Break Out the Crazy. Let's break it open. Let's go. Come on. Let's unpack la maleta y todo. Vamos.
Break Out the Crazy. A couple of New Yorkers, when we met, that was the first thing that bonded us, the fact that we were both from New York. So we grew up listening to a bunch of different kind of music and loving all different kind of stuff. So I know I can speak for both of us because we talked about this a lot. That's a really big thing for us, the fact that we're from here and that we have this like eclectic kind of musical taste. And we also both come from musical families.
That's right.
And for example?
My dad is an opera singer. He sang at the Met for 7 seasons before moving back to Puerto Rico. And he actually just won the Kennedy Center honor. So I'm bragging a little bit about my dad. And that was in December. So we're very proud. Puerto Rico is very proud of him. And yeah, and then.
And your mother?
Oh yes, my mother is a ballerina.
Don't forget mom.
Of course. And so I actually was a dancer first, and then I became a singer. So I've definitely followed in their footsteps, as does my sister. She's a Broadway star, triple threat. So yeah, that was, our household was full of music and craziness.
That's right, that's right. And then my dad, for the Dominicans out there, they might know a band called La Gran Manzana from the 1980s that did merengue, classic merengue band. And my dad was the singer from that band, Hierro. He was also the pianist and arranger of the band. And so, you know, we grew up in a very similar kind of way, you know, music everywhere, lots of music, love of music, you know, seeing the business, learning the business. And by the time we come and we meet, we decide one day, you know, I'm kind of making the story a bit shorter because we don't have a lot of time, but basically we decided,
okay. No judgments, fine.
We don't want to bore you to death here, but no, we decided to just go for it one day and start writing a song, you know, off of something that Katya told me. We always tell the story because it's like it's kind of cheesy, kind of bubblegummy, but it's
a
truth.
True story. So it's like,
you
what's
know,
better than that?
So we're like falling for each other, and we're walking down the west side by the river, you know, in Harlem, and she looks over at me and she's like, "You're either the best or the worst thing that's happened to me." Oh. And I looked at her, I was like, wow, that's a song. Sí, te fuiste romance ahí, te me pusiste.
And the taxi almost splashed water on you. It was great.
Sentimiento full, yes.
And the time stopped.
And I was like, man, that could be a song. And she's like, that could be a song. And I was like, you could go a little like this. You're either the best or the worst thing that's happened to me. Don't know where we'll go. And we like started recording it and we wrote it. And the whole song came out and it was so good.
It was so fast. I mean, we wrote it in like an hour and it was done. I was like, well, this is a hit. Okay. We recorded it and then we're like, well, what else can we do? And then it just took off from there. You couldn't shut us up writing songs, like, and the styles just were across the board. We wrote a reggae song, a jazzy song, like a Disney-esque song, a couple of EDM songs, and we were just like every style. We'd be like, well, maybe we could write something like that, or classic love song. Okay, cool. What else? And we just were. I was shocked at how fast and easy it was. And what chemistry we had, because we had already knew we had romantic chemistry, but we never actually considered working together.
Eyebrows. Yeah, baby, yeah, we did.
Did
you consider, like, he was
Absolutely.
already a proficient producer. He had a band, you know, and then he was actually doing another project at the time, and I was just like, I never really thought about working with him in that way. But when we saw how easy it was, I think it was just like, I think we have something here that we should probably see where it goes.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
the project kind of chose us, you know, in a way. It just kind of was born and we were like, oh man, let's just keep doing it.
It wasn't like you sing, I sing, let's do this. It was just sort of just like literally way more organic than that, which is probably the only way we would have done it anyway.
Right.
Because it's got to feel good, you know?
No, sister. Question. What's EDM?
Excuse me?
What's EDM?
Oh, EDM.
Oh,
electronic dance music, like dance music.
I
like,
figured,
you know, like,
but like, oh god, okay, because I was a.
This is good because I love this other side of the spectrum, you know, where there's like on one side you got these snobs that everything is a term, you know. It's like this is progressive rock with this, that, you know, and we hate that because we love so many different styles of music that we don't like to label our own music. Like we literally are saying that just to maybe help you or anyone out there listening to know what it is that we do.
That's why I was like, What?
Yeah, to us, they're all songs, you know, they're just feelings and vibes. Like you hear something, it sounds clubby or dancey,
Yeah,
or it
it's
sounds
super
romantic.
Right.
Yeah,
Because nowadays it's like everything is blended so much, like you know, as we're gonna talk about. And then it's just like, what? It's like, oh, that was the actual thing. Somebody olvidó. Like I forgot. I was like, damn. I totally was like, oh right, EDM. I said, and I was thinking like, oh, what artists do I know in EDM that I can
and we're talking, and you're probably still like,
What's he?
the equations are popping up around you.
just
You
a
know,
bit,
like
just a bit, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of that generic music.
It'll be
though.
like this, you know, bubblehead.
There it is.
EDM. Question mark.
Question mark. I said EDM. I said, I hope I think the D means dance, and I guess the M means music. What the hell does it
You're
mean?
smart.
Is it
Put it together.
accordion? Is it electric? Is it
It's not masochism or anything weird
No,
like that. It's not
gracias.
S&M, right?
That's
No.
DB. See, unfortunately, I might not.
Okay.
I might know that one.
Okay, I was gonna
I
say.
was embarrassed. Sorry.
I don't know what kind of show this is. I don't know what time this airs or anything. So I don't want to.
No,
What are we getting
are between
into?
5 and 6. We're just having fun in terms of that, you know. But music wise, what have you noticed now in comparison to when you first started? What has there been a progression? Do you feel that there's a rise in certain types of music, or there's a decline in another? Like, what have you noticed musically?
I mean, obviously, way more trap is take. I didn't think it was going to stick around as long as it did.
Yes.
So I'm a little surprised about that. What I've noticed more of a saturation of music just in general, though. I mean, it's sort of like, you know, this double-edged sword of having everyone be able to put out music. So there's according to the stats, it's 60,000 songs are uploaded to Spotify every single day.
Wow.
60,000. So, and then at the same time, 60% of consumed music is catalog based.
Right.
So, but by catalog, I mean basically artists have a huge catalog of work, and at some point they're like, you know what, the music industry is not gonna make money anymore, so I'm gonna sell my catalog.
Make my money
these
now.
Smaller companies buy catalogs, and then they sort of divvy it out. Like they have artists that can sample it, or they have ways to put the songs in movies, so they can make money now off the catalog that they've already paid for. But anyway, so all that to say that if so much of music that is consumed is catalog based, who's listening to these 60,000 songs a day? And when you put out music, what beach are you bringing your speck of sand to? Here you go, if anyone hears it. So then it becomes a pay situation. So everything is payola now, everything. So people pay for Instagram followers, they pay for Spotify numbers and followers, they pay for playlistings, everything is bought and paid for. And if you don't do it, no one's going to hear your song. I mean, it's just a fact. Unless you have billions of people waiting for your music and you're solid fans, you absolutely have to pay. Like a marketing situation would do, anyone, any label would have. So I think, long story short, the record industry has completely changed, like from minute to minute. And especially even since when we first started in the music industry to when we made music, to us making music together, it is like a different animal.
Yeah. Oh my God. Is it ever? It's just like, and then lyricism has gone down. I don't know if lyricism is a word, but it has gone down substantially. It was all about now, which is great. If you're a beat person, it's great in terms of the beats that you compose, the composers, in terms of, musicality, as much as they can get, are doing great. But lyrics nowadays is just like, what did I listen to? Like sometimes I feel like I was like, I need a bar of soap. I feel all dirty. Oh, you weren't talking about that? You sure?
We were just talking about that last night.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, with the saturation, it's just like, I don't know how lyrics somehow fell to the, but I think that's why people go back to the catalog music, is because I go back to Sade all the time. I mean, like, who else is doing music like that? And all of our favorites from when they cared about what they were saying. Now it's everyone wants to sing and not worry about what they're saying.
Yeah, there's a big effort put on just being cool and kind of getting the fruits and kind of like the result that a lot of the stars from the past got. But they got there by first being really talented and good at what they did and working really hard. You know what I mean? At becoming like that. And then they got all these rules. They became rock stars and all this stuff, and and everything that comes in. But now that we're just kind of skipping to the rock star part.
That's right.
And then they don't think about longevity or even like staying power. It's like, okay, yeah, you're popular now in your 20s and 30s, or like even 19, 18, but you're not thinking, hey, when I'm 45, do I want to be singing at a concert, having sold out, sold out concerts? And it's just
talking about my body parts and certain ways of being. Like, no, I don't. I mean, and it's funny too, because like I think about the same exact thing, and then I often wonder, I'm like, do other people think about this stuff? Because I'm very picky about my lyrics. I mean, I'm the lyric person. Like, for me, lyrics are everything. It's the reason why I sing at all. If I didn't, like, for a long time, I just considered myself like a singer, but I never considered myself an artist until I realized, like, oh, I do have stuff to say. Now I'm an artist.
Thank you to all my guests. Thank you to Theresa Mitchell from Jhene Productions. Thank you to Carlos Leon from Tri-County Care. Thank you to Katya Diaz and Chris Hierro from Break Out the Crazy. Thank you for the time. Thank you for your efforts and for everything that you do in your respective fields. And thank you for watching the show. Stay tuned for more. I'll see you on the next episode. And I am your host, the one and only Eurydice Roman. I will see you then. Good night, goodbye, and good luck.